and welcome everyone. I'm happy to have you this afternoon. So anyway, I've been a nutritional researcher for 21 years, and the idea behind this podcast, this is live, it's a podcast. I'm actually a researcher, and everything I'm going to share with you today is original material from our research. We've written 4 best-selling books. The first one called Why Diets Are Failing Us, which was a huge bestseller back in 2010. There's been 3 updates to it. Then we wrote the TDOS Syndrome, TDOS Solutions, and my 4th book, Your Third Brain, which is not a trick title. So today what we're going to do, we're going to discuss and show you exactly this, how you can actually lose weight in 7 days. It would take you 8 weeks on any diet. Instead of losing lean muscle mass, you can actually they gain 6 to 9% lean muscle mass. None of it's our opinion. These are, you can't see it, hold on, okay. These are the 7 peer-reviewed human trial studies that we used in our books, original material proving that this new protocol, which is not a diet, it has nothing to do with counting calories. Men and women lost as much weight, listen to me carefully, in 7 days. It took 8 weeks on any diet. They lost as much weight in a month as took a year on any diet. I know you're skeptical and think, oh my God, it's unhealthy to lose that much weight that fast on a diet. On a diet, it would be. This is not a diet. The people in these studies, and in the studies, they did blood, stool, urine, and fat analysis. The people lost no water weight, and instead of losing lean muscle, which is the case on every diet out there, they gained 6 to 9% lean muscle mass. Now, we're going to contrast that today with peer-reviewed human trial studies on traditional diets. And if anybody can tell me, can put in the chat, can you name a diet that's not some form of lowering calories? Well, we're going to deal with that today, and I think you're going to be pretty shocked to find out that essentially diets by lowering calories are completely obsolete, and we have the medical evidence to prove it. None of it's our opinion. We wrote about it extensively in my original book, Why Diets Are Failing Us. It's all original material. Nothing is copied. I'm the actual researcher. I'm the author of the books. So I'm on here live, and I'm willing to answer any questions as we get going. I'm going to start here in just a minute or two, and I want to show you the proof of why, for example, counting calories has just been completely obsoleted now by the medical proof in the medical community, but also in these 7 new peer-reviewed human trial studies, okay? So for all of you, the biggest thing, this is what we're going to be discussing today. Say goodbye to diet struggles. It's not some commercial. You literally can lose as much weight in 7 days as 8 weeks of any diet you've ever been on. And the medical proof is there to show you that it's not unhealthy. As a matter of fact, the newest research says the faster you can lose weight, if it's the right kind of weight, in the right kind of way, it's the healthiest thing any of us could ever do. Listen, we have 80% of America. That's what I wrote about in Why Diets Are Failing Us. We have 80% of America overweight, 50% are obese, 50% of Americans are pre-diabetic. Does anyone on here really think that diets work? So hi, Nico. Hi, user. Hi, Gil. Hi, Andy. Hi, Clyde. Hi, RCS. Hi, Abraham. I'm saying hi. I don't know if I'm supposed to wave back. I'm sorry. I'm not a TikTok master, but I'm learning a little bit at a time. I'm a researcher. Welcome everyone. My name is Peter Greenlaw. I've been a nutritional researcher for 21 years. I've written 4 best-selling books. I'm not telling you to impress you. I just want you to understand my credentials, right? I was interviewed, I did 20 shows on PBS. I've been interviewed on the 4 biggest daytime shows in America. Did over 1,500 lectures all over the world, including hello Benjamin, hello Carnell, hello Michael. You can see the headline, Achieve Rapid Weight Loss in a Month. Well, the other part of it is this. You literally can lose as much weight in 7 days as in 8 weeks of any diet you've ever been on. And instead of losing lean muscle mass in these studies that I'm going to go over in just a moment, people with no exercise gained 6 to 9% lean muscle mass despite losing weight 12 times faster than any diet. I have, let's see, I need to pull up on the screen again. I keep thinking. So these 7 new peer-reviewed human trial studies, and these are the top nutritional weight loss. Hello, Yvonne, Barnes, Shirley. These are the top weight loss researchers in the world. Now, you can do any diet, all the influencers. What are they telling you? The only way to lose weight is to lower calories. Really? We're going to show you why that is now, even with the top experts like from Harvard Medical School, et cetera, saying counting calories is absurd. It doesn't work in the long run. You can't possibly have 80% of America overweight and 50% are obese if you really think that diets work. I'm going to put up here for you. This is our free, no spaces, it's the new health conversation. And at any time you can go. It's a free research site. There's nothing to buy there. There's no tricks. There's no celebrity endorsements. The only thing there is actually the medical proof. You can see it right there, the new health conversation. There's no spaces. And I really encourage you to go there. Now, what you will see shock you. Okay, so there's no tricks on that site. There's nothing to buy. There's nobody getting to you. Now, if you like what you see when you go to the new health conversation, Tracy or Nelda or Jim, you can literally sign up for a free, and I mean free, personal consultation with one of our coaches. Not somebody on an 800 number that's trying to convince you or twist your arm. People that they've done the protocol and they know how to answer your questions. Why would we give you a free personal consultation? Because we don't know anything about you. Do you want to gain weight? Do you want to lose weight? Do you have any medical issues, etc.? So we do that, okay? So let's get started and let's just talk about diets in general. I think we have a consensus that every diet out there is some form of lowering calories. Well, let's hear what Harvard Medical School now says about counting calories to lose weight. The title of this article is Stop Counting Calories. This idea of a calorie in and a calorie out when it comes to weight loss is not only antiquated, it's just wrong, says Fatima Stanford, obesity specialist at Harvard Medical School. She goes on to say, drop the calories notion, says Stanford. It's time to take a different approach, putting the emphasis on what's in the calorie, not how many calories you're consuming. For the new people, Whitney, James, Jim, I guess I already welcomed you, Carl. My name is Peter Greenlaw. I've been a nutritional researcher for 21 years. You'll notice the title, Achieve Safe Weight Loss in Just 1 Month. It's not a diet. As a matter of fact, it's really more towards this. You literally on this, and it's backed by 7 medical peer-reviewed home trial studies, you literally can lose as much weight as they did in the studies in 7 days, taking 8 weeks on any diet that's ever been analyzed. I know it sounds crazy. Let's look at one more article about counting calories, okay? The title of it is Why You Shouldn't Count Calories. Not my opinion. Hello, Heather. Hello, Courtney. Hello, Gay. I'm just going to read from this article about why counting calories is completely obsolete. What they said, truth is, calorie counting is a terrible approach for weight loss. While counting calories and restricting calories can help you lose weight in the short term, the approach has never been proven to keep weight off long term. What's even worse, 2/3 of people who try to count or restrict their calories will gain back more weight than they lost. Some of you have already experienced that yo-yo effect. You lose the weight, you gain it back. You go on another diet, you lose weight, you gain it back over and over and over again. I mean, hello, Lee C. C. Marino, Mr. Tim. JD's there. Thank you, JD. But anyway, everyone, I just want you to understand that our main goal at the New Health Conversation, I'm going to put it up here again for you, the New Health. This is a research site. There's nothing to buy there. Yeah, my books aren't there. That isn't our purpose. Our purpose is to show you the medical evidence. And then if you like what you see, okay, because we're not going to contact you, you can sign up for a free consultation going over and showing you on the site all the things that we're going to talk about. So let's now take a look at one of the biggest trends out there today is time-restricted eating, where you don't eat for 16 hours and you eat for 8. It's been a big buzz, right? Well, let's go to the medical evidence, the real truth. Nothing we give you is our opinion. Nothing we give you, it's not copied. It's original research that we've done in writing our 4 books. Why Diets Are Failing Us. Why Diets Are Failing Us. The TDOS syndrome, which we're going to talk about in a moment, and Your Third Brain, and my 4th book. Oh, here it is. Sorry. I do have it. TDOS Solutions, okay? So nothing, and I am the author. I am the researcher. It's not someone standing in talking about it, right? And I would say this, with all due respect to all the influences out there, have any of them ever showed you a peer-reviewed human trial study on what they're claiming? They're making all kinds of claims, but you got to understand, claims don't stand up in the medical world. They mean nothing, okay? So let's first talk about time-restricted eating. This is the Journal of the American Medical Association study, 3 months. This is what they said. The Journal of the American Medical Association's new research found that overweight adults who were assigned to routinely fast for 16 hours daily, eating all their meals between noon and 8, popularly known as the 16-8 diet, gained almost no benefit from it. And over the course of 3 months, they lost 2 to 3.5 pounds, and most of the weight they shed was not body fat, but lean muscle mass. You'll find that's the theme on all these diets. You can lose weight, but up to 40% of what you're losing is your lean muscle. And when you lose lean muscle, 2 of the most unhealthy things possible happen to you. Number one, your body doesn't have a choice. It has to slow down your metabolism, which is your ability to burn calories, especially when you're at rest. It's called your basal metabolic rate. The other thing it does that you may not know when you lose lean muscle, it also interferes with your own immune system. Literally, having your immune system become less effective. And I think we need our immune system, right? So all these diets out there where they're telling you to lose, to count calories, et cetera, there's one big problem with that. The human body doesn't know what a calorie is. All calorie is a measurement. What we really should be talking about is that Kung Fu, Russell, Georgia, hello. When people go on a program to lose weight, what they're really doing is consuming less food. Whether it's, time-restricted eating, paleo, keto, Mediterranean, Jenny Craig, Weight Watchers, they're all focused. They call it calories, but it's really less food. Now, what's the most important thing in food for all of us is nutrition. So what happens when you go on a diet where you lower the amount of food and you lower the amount of nutrition, once the body figures out there's not enough nutrition, it goes in starvation mode. And what does it do in starvation mode? It forces, you can't burn fat, number one. But number two, the body needs fuel. Where does it find it? In our muscles. It breaks our muscles down, converting them into carbohydrates for fuel. And it slows down your metabolism and interferes with your own immune. But more importantly, we have 80% of America overweight and 50% are obese. 50% of Americans are pre-diabetic. Does anyone think that diets, lowering calories, works? Because they don't. That was our first book, Why Diets Are Failing Us. It's not something we're making up. We have the medical proof to back it up. Now, I just read to you from that 3-month study in the Journal of the American Medical Association on time-restricted eating. Hello, Tiger. So the New England Journal of Medicine did a 12-month study on diets in general, lowering. They had one group that just lowered calories, a typical diet. The other group did time-restricted eating. Remember, this is 12 months, not 12 weeks. So what did they find? The mean weight loss for people lowering calories up to 12 months was 16 pounds. Ladies and gentlemen, that's in a year. And by time-restricted eating, don't eat for 16 hours, eat for 8, 12.6 pounds. But again, here's the Achilles heel. In the report, in the study, both time-restricted eating and daily caloric restriction diets led to the loss of lean muscle mass. That's what you're doing on all these diets. You're kidding yourself. That's why you lose the weight. You can lose weight on any diet. My gosh, you could lose weight on the Dunkin' Donuts diet. I'm not making this up. You could. But what kind of weight are you losing? See, you ask yourself this question. Is your diet doing something to you, or is it doing something for you? Sadly, according to the medical proof, it's doing something to you. Now let's contrast that with these 7 new peer-reviewed human trial studies. This will shock you. This was 80% women, 20% men, no one allowed to exercise. No one was allowed to exercise. Because monkey, we have the medical proof, okay? We have the absolute medical proof that though you don't lose fat, monkey, hundredth monkey, sorry. What happens is the fat either expands or shrinks, okay? So in the studies, the visceral fat, that's the fat you should be concerned about around your organs. It went down, shrank by 33% in 8 weeks with no exercise. And in its place, measured, this is medical, this isn't hyperbole, this isn't something I'm making up. They gained 6 to 9% lean muscle mass. And I'll explain to you why that is in just a moment. But I want people to get the general idea. This is not a diet. Has nothing to do with calorie counting. Has everything to do with a new term called nutritional density, right? So what they basically did in the studies, the researchers who are the top diet nutritional researchers in the world for 38 years, they've done over 150 studies over the last 38 years, thousands of people. And here's the conclusions they've come to over that course of time. Number one, every diet people lost weight. But every diet they studied, people lost lean muscle mass. Every diet, every time in the long run, the people lost the weight, and because they lost lean muscle mass, their metabolism slowed down. They gained all the weight back. Hello, T. Boone. Hello, Lisa. Hello, Source. What we're discussing today, everyone, is you can literally, what I'm talking about is this new breakthrough, which is not a diet. People lost as much weight safely in 7 days as 8 weeks of any diet. They ended up losing as much weight in 30 days as a year on any diet. But it's not an infomercial. These are 7 peer-reviewed human trial studies, not 1 or 2, 7, where the men and women with no exercise lost no water weight, gained 6 to 9% lean muscle mass, and literally lost as much weight in 30 days as 12 months of any diet that you've ever been on. Now, at any point, if you're curious or interested, I'm going to put it up here again for you. You can go to the new, it's also under my shirt there, New Health Conversation. No spaces, by the way, no spaces. You can see it right there, the New Health Conversation. Now, what's cool about that site, it has all the medical research. So you see the medical research, you see the before and afters, you see the interview with the #1 nutritional researcher in the world. And if you like what you see, you can sign up. If you want, you can schedule a free consultation with one of our coaches. No gimmicks, no tricks, not a bait and switch, not somebody 800 number trying to sell you something. We don't know anything about you. I'm going to go into how in the world did they come up with this? How in the world was it possible for men and women with no exercise to lose as much weight in a week as 8 weeks of any diet, lose as much weight in a month as a year on any diet? Instead of losing water weight, they lost no water. Instead of losing lean muscle, which I've already gone over and showed you on the big studies, right, on every diet out there, yes, you can lose weight, but the majority of what you're losing, up to 40%, is lean muscle mass, which slows your metabolism down. Hello, Heather. Hello, Amy. And then people gain all the weight back, right? Okay, so let me review one more time for the new people coming on. What we're basically, you can see that, achieve safe weight loss in just 1 month. The reason we focused on that in the studies, 7 peer-reviewed human trial studies, men and women lost as much weight in 30 days as any diet in a year. Now, I know that sounds impossible to you. Doesn't matter. If you go, you can go to that website for free. You can see the medical proof. It's not a commercial. When you have peer-reviewed human trial studies, you can't go any higher in medicine, okay? Now, David, hello, David, Chris, etc. So anyway, to make a long story short, what did these researchers do? Well, in order to understand what they did, you have to understand what they didn't do. For 38 years, they'd done over 150 studies, looked at every diet out there. No question, every diet people lost weight. But every time, every person lost between 20 and 40% of their lean muscle. In every case, people gained all their weight back and more. So they realized, the researchers, when they came up with this new approach that had never been tried before, that had never been, done in peer-reviewed human trial studies. So what they said was this: we can't possibly come up with just another scheme to lower the amount of food people are consuming. What we have to concentrate on first is the only thing the body cares about, and it's nutrition. So their first goal was, okay, can we give the body adequate nutrition so it doesn't go into starvation mode, so it doesn't use our muscles for fuel? So in order to accomplish that, here's what they did. They created, and you would get this if you decide to do it, a grocery list where 40% of the food that people consumed came from the grocery store. But the other 60%, and here's the key, it came from food sources from all over the world, from Russia, Mongolia, Manchuria, from Bangladesh, from Tibet and the Himalayas, South America, New Zealand. Now, why is that important? Because our food in this country, even if it's organic, is becoming more and more almost nutritionally bankrupt, meaning the amount of nutrition in there has gone down, down, down. So what do we do when we go on a diet? We lower the amount of food we're consuming. It's already compromised nutritionally, and now you have less nutrition, and it triggers the starvation mode in the body. It has nothing to do with calories. Never did. What it matters is what's in the calorie. That's what we're discussing, all right? So the researchers put the people on this protocol. 40% of the food from the grocery store, 60% of the food from around the world. And then they did 2 amazing new approaches. One called protein pacing. What in the world is protein pacing? They had very specific amounts of proteins at very specific times over about a 12 to 14-hour period. Nothing to do with time-restricted eating or eat when you're hungry, okay? Nothing. Hello, Kelvin. Hello, Diane. Hi, Mrs. Ghetto, both Greek, Warehouse of Speed, Boss Tone. Welcome, everyone. Now, what they did was they taught people this new way to consume food called protein pacing. But the other thing they did was really, it'll sound crazy, but it was intermittent nutritional fasting, not time-restricted eating, where people were literally, here, I'm going to show you the website again. You can all go and see the medical proof. I don't want you to believe me, but you can go there. It's free. There's nothing to buy. No one's going to call you. But if you like what you see, based on what I'm sharing with you now, you can sign up for a personal consultation. But let me finish. So what they did, 5 days each week, people did protein pacing. Those were proteins on those days. But 2 days a week, they did this intermittent nutritional fasting. Now, some things you need to know. You think it sounds simple. You've all heard, consume protein. That's going to help you lose weight. Yes, and you'll hear them say things. I see it every day. The influencers come on and tell you, I'm going to show you. Have 120 grams of protein in a day. Well, you'd think you're getting 120 grams of protein. Nothing could be farther from the truth. I'm going to shock some of you. Protein itself is an absolute, all it is the shell. Protein carries these life-changing not ingredients, but they're called amino acids. There are 20. 9 are essential. You have to get them from your diet. So we need amino acids, and particularly one of them, it's called leucine, because that's what builds lean muscle in the body. Now, what you don't know is that in Europe, about 8 or 9 years ago, they developed a test. When you ingest protein from a plant or an animal, you get all 20 amino acids. That's a given. But those amino acids, only thing that matters is not that you're getting all 20 amino acids, but what you're absorbing. Does everyone get that? So they did blood, they did stool, they did urine, they did fat analysis. And they first looked at vegetable proteins. And what they found shocked them, that a vegetable protein, the absorption of the 20 amino acids is only 10%. And I don't want to make vegans, I'm just giving you the science. 90% of a plant-based protein is actually turned into waste that the kidneys have to get rid of. They actually have a name. They're called nitrogen catabolites. They're things like urea, creatine, ammonia, and glucose. Now, when they analyzed all meat, steak, chicken, liver, fish, swordfish, trout, didn't matter, the absorption was 30%. Only 30%, right? So even you meat eaters or people that are doing carnivore, which there's a version of carnivore in here, that's good. But you're just scratching the surface, because here's the reality: we're really short on amino acids. Okay? Yes, Miss Kitty, only 30%. So what did the researchers find? They found a protein source where the absorption was 91%. That's why protein pacing worked. Here's why. Because the goal was not to give people more protein, but give them more amino acids. So think about it. The people in the study on protein pacing could consume a third as much protein and get the same benefit. So it'd just be like your car. You could get gas at 20 miles to the gallon. What if you could buy gas and get 100 miles to the gallon? That's what we're talking about here. Like I told you, all animal proteins are 30% absorption. Now, in addition to getting 91% of the amino acids, these are the food sources they ran down from around the world. The researchers, they don't sell anything. They give you a grocery list, but they don't get a commission from the grocery store. But the other thing that we're really short on are what are called trace ionic minerals. There are 70 that we need. In the best organic you can find, you get about 15 to 20. Again, what did the researchers do? They found sources to give all 70 minerals. There's nothing like this. And in 38 years of research, they've never seen results like this either. The reason that people ended up, oh, by the way, the people in the studies consume more calories than the diets they compared them to. One of the big studies done in the Obesity Journal took the people on this protocol, which is called R2M. You know what that stands for? Race to maintenance. That's the whole key behind this, all right? But they compared the people in this study to the people doing the Mediterranean diet, which, by the way, has been voted the number 1 diet for 7 years in a row by U.S. News and World Report. Not time-restricted eating, not paleo, not keto. Right. Tina, I'm going to get to that in just a moment, okay? It's not just the max protein. That's one of 5 of the foods that they consumed. And they worked synergistically together. For example, you need the minerals, okay? So they found a source, instead of giving you 15 to 20 minerals, with all 70, okay? And what happened? Men and women with no exercise allowed lost as much weight, listen to me, in 7 days, taking 8 weeks on any diet you've ever been on. They lost as much weight in 30 days as people in these big diet studies in a year, with no loss of lean muscle and no loss of water. So it's a lot more than just consuming the protein with a 91% absorption. Yeah, I know. It sounds like, but for all of you, I want you to know a peer-reviewed human trial study is irrefutable, because for those of you who don't understand what happens in a peer-reviewed human trial study, you submit your study to one, in this case, let's say the obesity journal. Well, what the obesity journal does, if they're going to publish it, they don't review it. They send it out to other world-class experts. That's where the term peer review comes from. There are medical doctors and scientists who have only one job when they peer review your work: to discredit what you're claiming. That's why no drug ever gets approved without a peer-reviewed human trial study. What's the protein? Again, Miss Kitty, that's part of this protocol. And again, I'm not trying to be, let me put it up here for you again. It's the new health conversation. All of you can go there at any moment in time. You can see the new health did I spell it wrong? I did, conversation. Heck, wait a minute, let me redo it. I'm sorry about my fat fingers. The new health conversation. You can go to that website and you can see the medical proof, etc. So again, Miss Kitty, it's not just what you're consuming. It's a completely different way of consuming it. This isn't some lotion, potion, pill. This isn't 3 recipes to lose weight. It's really complicated. So part of why we offer you a free consult, but also on the website, there's a walkthrough of exactly what they did, but that doesn't mean you can do it. If you did decide to do it, the coach that would interview you coaches you for free. Because how you do it is as or more important than what you're consuming, right? And also the 5 foods that come from around the world. They're doing that again with I'm only giving original material, not reproduced contents. It's from my books, which I wrote the books. Okay, I wrote the books. It's just. Sometimes, TikTok thinks I'm doing something that I'm not doing. But the bottom line is that we're only supplying you with our own research, and we're showing you the medical trials for all of you. We offer you a free, yes, Miss Kitty, so you can go there. Let me put it up there for you again. The new health. Okay, it's all our original research. It's all our original material. Nothing is made up. We don't have to do that, okay? So anyway, to get back to what I was saying, okay? So for example, this is really true. Men and women lost as much weight in 7 days as 8 weeks of any diet. And instead of losing water or lean muscle mass, they lost no water. They gained 6 to 9% lean muscle mass. And you can see, if you go to that research site, the New Health Conversation, there's nothing to buy there. You can't buy my books. The only thing there is medical proof. And if you like what you see, you can sign up for a free. I get people put in a comment all the time. Well, how much is the free consultation? It's like, oh my God, are we that skeptical? I guess we are. And I don't want you to believe me, despite the fact I'm author of 4 books, wrote them all with medical doctors, MDs, by the way. I've done 1,500 lectures all over the world. I did 20 shows on PBS. That didn't mean anything until a year ago when these peer-reviewed human trial studies came out. I had not one medical, other than the ones I wrote the books with, they wouldn't even consider this. Well, that's all changed, okay? So anyway, to make a long story short, this is not a diet, okay? The main reason to do this may shock you. This is my second book, and this is a medical syndrome, a registered trademark U.S. Patent Office called the TDOS syndrome. Now, I don't know if you're familiar with a registered trademark, but you go through a long process, and they recognize it as a new medical thing. Now, what does it stand for? T is for toxicity, the D is for deficiency, the overweight, O for overweight, and S is for stress. Every person on here, every one of us has the TDOS syndrome. We can't avoid it. We're drinking, we're breathing, we're eating chemicals. And what the body does, it takes the chemical and stuffs it inside of our fat cells, specifically the visceral fat. That's the fat around your organs, okay? Well, in the studies, they did blood, stool, urine, and fat analysis and proved that this protocol was assisting the body in removing those chemicals from the body. This is not made up. It's in the peer-reviewed human trial studies. See, the main reason to do this is not to lose weight. That's like a given. Like I said, I mean, they lost weight 12 times faster than any diet that's ever been analyzed. And instead of losing lean muscle mass, they gained lean muscle mass. So, I mean, it's pretty incredible when you think about it. Wait a minute, how in the world could they lose all that weight and it not be unhealthy? Because they didn't lose any lean muscle mass. They didn't lose any water. Every diet out there that we've talked about, every diet we wrote about and why diets are failing us, about 20 to 40% of what people lost on every diet, didn't matter what the name was lean muscle mass. And then people, they think that the way is diet and exercise. That's even worse, because what really is happening when you're exercising and dieting, by lowering the amount of food you're getting, you now have less fuel to expect the body to put out more effort. It's not going to work. We already know that, and the researchers aren't against, the researchers aren't against. Thank you, Miss Kitty. The researchers aren't against exercise. As a matter of fact, we work with marathoners and CrossFit people and triathletes, and the researchers have actually worked with Navy SEALs and Green Berets and NFL football players, etc. So they're not opposed. But in the studies, they wanted to isolate this. They wanted to make sure that exercise wasn't going to be a factor. Not that they're against it, okay? So let's take a look at another big study on traditional diets, on pretty much every diet form out there, okay? This study was published in the Journal of the American Medical. Remember, I don't want you to believe Peter Greenlaw. This is all real research, okay? This is original research from the medical studies that we wrote about in our books. That's all we're talking about. I mean, TikTok, I appreciate them by, they scrutinize you and say things like, that this is material that is not original. Well, wait a minute. We wrote the books. That's pretty original, I'd say, right? But anyway, in this study done in the Journal of the American Medical Association was 12 months. And the name of the study was Comparison of Weight Loss Among Named Diet Programs. So what did they do? They named pretty much every diet that any of us heard of. Right in the study: paleo, keto, Mediterranean, time-restricted eating, fasting, Atkins, zone diet, lose weight for your blood type, Jenny Craig, Weight Watchers, Nutrisystem. What did they find after 12 months? Remember, these are medical studies. They weren't sanctioned by paleo or keto or Mediterranean. You'll understand why in a moment. After 12 months, when they compared the most amount of weight loss to the least amount of weight loss, was 10 ounces in 12 months. And in addition, and if that wasn't enough, they also found that the people, by the way, this was 48 different studies that they analyzed, 7,286 people, okay? In 12 months, the average weight loss was about 16 pounds, and 40% of the weight loss was lean muscle. We've talked about it over and over and over again, that yes, you can lose weight on any diet out there. Now let's take a look again at the Mediterranean diet, where they compared the Mediterranean diet to in these 7 studies, right? So first of all, this is the Mediterranean diet. This is what happened. 8 months on the Mediterranean diet, people lost 10.2 pounds in 8 months, but 40% of their weight loss was lean muscle. Also, I should say, in a year follow-up, the people on the Mediterranean diet had gained all their weight back, compared to the people in these studies with no exercise. They lost 16 pounds in a month, gained 6 to 9% lean muscle mass, lowered their belly fat by 33% with no exercise, lowered blood pressure, blood sugar, cholesterol, triglycerides, all in 30 days, lowered inflammation, which is unheard of, by 25% in 30 days, and hunger went down 41% in 30 days. So for the new people coming on, this is basically what we're talking about, is the fact that you literally can lose as much. They did in the studies. Men and women lost as much weight in 7 days as 8 weeks of any diet, and with no bad effects in terms of losing water or losing lean muscle mass. They gained 6 to 9% lean muscle mass. No one's ever seen anything like this before. Now let's go back and take a look at diets in general, about counting calories, to lose weight, okay? I read to you both from Harvard Medical School in this other article, but for some of the new people coming on, just so you don't think that I'm making things up, let's just look at what Harvard Medical School is saying about lowering calories to lose weight. The article's titled, this is Harvard Medical School, just so you don't think I'm making it up. You can see it right up there, Harvard Medical School, right? The title is Stop Counting Calories. Listen to what they said. The idea of a calorie in and a calorie out when it comes to weight loss is not only antiquated, it's just wrong, says Fatima Stanford, obesity specialist at Harvard Medical School. She goes on to say, drop the calories notion, says Stanford. It's time to take a different approach, putting the emphasis on what's in the calorie, not how many calories you're counting. But let me give you an example of that. You see, most of these influencers come on and they say the only way to lose weight, it's a mathematical formula. You want to consume less calories. Okay, if that was the case, let's say we settled, we agreed. I don't, but again, just for purposes of this discussion. So let's say we went to 1,500 calories a day. So behind door number one, 1,500 calories represents lean chicken, fish, whatever, 1,500 calories. Remember, if it's only based on the amount of calories, then this should work. The other 1,500 calories are 3 bags of M&Ms. Do you see the absurdity of that argument? And again, the human body doesn't even know what a calorie is. We wrote about it in our book. You know, why are we counting? Instead of counting calories, we need to make every calorie count. And we wrote this book in 2010. Now, there's been a couple updates to it, since then. But that was our premise. We looked around, and it wasn't anywhere near as bad as it is now. We have 80% of America overweight, 50% are obese, 50% are pre-diabetic. Those are facts. That isn't something we're making up. We're not here to convince you. We're not here to sell you anything. We're here to educate you. We give you the free website, the free research site. I'm going to put it up here again. The new Health Conversation. There it is. You can go there at any time, at any moment, and you can see the medical research. It's all original. There's nothing reproduced. We did the research. We did the digging. We put it together for all of you, okay? Now, the key is for you to have access to a different approach. I'm serious. You can go. There's plenty of influencers on TikTok and YouTube and all the platforms. And what are they telling you? The same thing. They call it a different name, paleo, keto, Mediterranean, time-restricted eating. They're all forms of lowering calories. That's it. But I just told you the problem with that is ignoring that the only thing the body cares about and you should care about and we should care about is nutrition. Okay? Does that make sense to everyone? So the bottom line is that if you're thinking about going on a diet by lowering calories, you might want to reconsider this, okay? Let me find it here. So this article is titled, Why You Shouldn't Count Calories. Again, not Peter Greenlaw's opinion, right? What did they say? Truth is, calorie counting is a terrible approach for weight loss. While counting calories and restricting calories can help you lose weight in the short term, the approach has never been proven to keep weight off long term. What's even worse, 2/3 of people who try to count or restrict their calories will gain back more weight than they lost. That's what you're up against. I don't care if it's keto, paleo, Mediterranean, Jenny Craig, Weight Watchers, Nutrisystem. We can't possibly have 80% of America overweight and think somehow that diets are working. I mean, 50% are obese, but let me tell you how bad it is. In 2018, 42% of the people in this country were obese. 6 years later, 50%. That's like a 24% increase. For the first time ever, we have more people obese than just overweight. And, you might think, well, that's the United States problem. That's not in other parts of the world. Really? Well, let's look at a big study done by The Lancet, probably the #1 medical journal in the world. Let me read to you from this, in this new study. We now estimate there are over 1 billion people worldwide who are clinically obese, making obesity the leading form of malnutrition worldwide. What? We got 1 billion people clinically obese, making obesity the leading form of malnutrition worldwide? And they go on to say most people are not aware that obesity and being underweight are both forms of malnutrition, because in both cases, the people are not getting the right amounts of vitamins, minerals, nutrients, and the types of calories necessary to be healthy. That's what you're doing on a diet. You're already consuming food that's already woefully short of the vitamins, minerals, nutrients, and the types of calories to make you healthy. Well, no, I get excited. Don't tell me to calm down. It's my show. You get off anytime you want to. You don't have to be here, okay? But the bottom line is we should be mad. I mean, what are we doing? What are we being told? We're being told the only way to lose weight is to lower calories, and we have 80% of America overweight, and 50% are obese, and 50% are pre-diabetic. I think it's time to yell and scream. Somebody has to take up the charge, because all the influencers you're seeing, they're all telling you the same thing. Only way to lose weight is to lower calories. Complete nonsense, based on not my opinion, but medical evidence. And again, when you have peer-reviewed human trial studies, they're irrefutable. There's nothing to talk about. There's nothing to talk about, right? Because they've already been reviewed by let me put the website up there again, the New Health, G-A-A-L, New Health Conversation. You can go there at any time. I'm going to show you here in a minute. Did I spell it right? Conversation. Yeah. Okay, now I'm going to give you just before and after. Their A1C, I couldn't show them on TikTok or they would ban me. No, I'm serious. So what do? Okay, I promise I'm going to come to that in just one moment, all right? So what the researchers did, who had done 38 years of research, they'd done 150 studies pretty much on every diet that any of you have ever heard of, right? So what they knew was that diets didn't work, basically, because every time, didn't matter what the diet was, people lost weight. But when they analyzed, about 40% of what they were losing was lean muscle mass, which slowed the metabolism down, and every person on every diet, for the most part, gained all their weight back. So the very first thing they did when they constructed, remember, this was groundbreaking. They didn't know if it was going to work. It had never been tried before, what they did in these 7 peer-reviewed studies. So what they said was this. They said, wait a minute, we can't possibly think we're going to lower the quantity of food and ignore, we've got to figure out a way to give people enough nutrition so the body won't go into starvation mode, which is what happens on every single diet, whether you know it or not. So what they did, they constructed, first, what are we going to feed the people? Well, 40% of the food came from the grocery store. You'd get a grocery list, okay? Proteins, fats, carbs, fruit. But only 40% of what they consumed in the medical trials. The other 60% to solve this problem about nutrition came from all over the world. They came from Russia, Mongolia, Manchuria, Bangladesh, Nepal, and the Himalayas, South America, New Zealand. Those foods had tremendous amounts of nutrition, regardless of the number of calories. Then they employed 2 completely new ways of consuming food. One is called protein pacing. Okay, what is protein pacing? Essentially, they had very specific amounts of protein at very specific times over about 12 to 14 hours over the course of a day, right? Now, the other thing they did, they had people do something called intermittent nutritional fasting, not time-restricted eating, okay? And the idea was that, see, what you need to understand for the new people coming on, that every one of us has this syndrome called TDOS. It's a registered trademark, U.S. Patent Office. It stands for toxicity driven by nutritional deficiency, causing us to be overweight and stressed. One of the main factors in why it's so hard for people to maintain or lose weight. I'll give you the medical proof of that in just a moment, okay? So one of the things they knew was that when we go to sleep at night, as long as we don't eat too late, the minute you go to sleep, your body shuts down digestion. When you shut down digestion, what the body does, it automatically turns on a natural detox mechanism in our body. The process has a fancy name. It's called autophagy. I just call it taking the trash out. It's taking out the dead cells when we're sleeping at night, okay? Well, effectively, what these researchers were able to do was to create that same process in a 48-hour period called intermittent nutritional fasting. On those days, they were getting massive amounts of nutrition, all in liquid form, so it was very little involvement of the digestive tract. So the body, and how do they know that? Because they did blood, stool, fat, and urine analysis, okay? They proved it, that it was removing. Now, all the diets they'd ever studied before, no one had ever seen any results that even resembled any of the results they saw. Because you would think, well, the big buzz is weight loss. That was the least important thing to them. Although men and women, ex-Tina, Tan Mard, etc., they ended up losing weight, well, in 7 days. It took 8 weeks on any diet they'd ever looked at in 38 years. So they had a comparison. They knew what they were doing. And all the other diets they'd done blood, stool, urine, and fat analysis, right? Well, kind of, Tina. It's a little bit, it's not really like what you would think about liquid nutrition. That's why I would really encourage you to go to the free research site. You can see it there, the New Health Conversation, and you can sign up, schedule. Well, look, first look at the medical evidence. If you go there, we will not contact you, I promise you. The idea is to give you the opportunity to see the medical proof. Then it is complicated. That's why we offer you a free consultation with a coach that's done it, that's been trained, not somebody an 800 number trying to sell you something. And they'll go over what your specific needs or goals are. And then if you decide listen to this, 40% of the money you'd spend is from your local grocery store. The other 60% of the money you'd spend is for these 5 foods that come from all over the world. But listen to this. The fulfillment companies who supplied the 5 foods offer you in the first 30 days 100% money back guarantee. No questions asked. They'll even pay return shipping. That's how confident they are it's going to work. Now, nothing's 100%. That'd be ridiculous. I would never make a stupid statement like that. But I can tell you this, that this is probably 99 or more percent, effective. Look, you can't, when you have peer-reviewed human trial studies, there's nothing to make up. It's not a marketing ploy because it's already been reviewed by the top medical and research scientists in the entire world. That's the whole point. Now, isn't it interesting that none of these other major diets that we're talking about today have ever on their own initiated peer-reviewed human trial studies? That's what's so unique about this. These researchers, they were willing to try this completely different approach that had never been tried before and certainly never analyzed. So what they did was to prove something that was theoretical that turned out to be in practicality the real thing, right? So what happened was that the people also, I should have told you this, the follow-on, because these peer-reviewed studies take a long time, the people now in the studies, it's been a couple of years, they've maintained what they've lost now for 2 years, where the people on all the other diets gain all their weight back. And then they they tried paleo, they lost the weight, and they gained it all back. So now they go to, whatever it might be, the alternative. Now, I told you that I was going to talk to you about why the toxic chemicals we're storing in our body are so detrimental to being able to lose weight, okay? This is one of the top, I'm reading from my book, and you can't buy my book. There's no books to buy. So if you go to the website, don't think we're trying to hustle you to sell my books. We put all the medical evidence there for you to see. But let me read to you from this top toxicity expert in the world. So Dr. Paula Bailey Hamilton is considered to be one of the world's leading authorities on toxic chemicals and their effects on our health. She says, what appears to be happening is that our natural slimming system is being poisoned by toxic chemicals we encounter in our everyday lives. And this damage is making it increasingly difficult for our bodies to control their weight. The end result is we gain weight in the form of fat and not muscle, as chemicals tend to cause muscles to shrink and body fat to accumulate. Were you aware of that? What are you doing about the chemicals you're storing inside your body? Now let's go even one step farther. Oh yeah, I've got the book right here. I didn't write this book, but this is really a good book if you want to get a good book. It's called The New American Diet. It was written by Stephen Perrin at Men's Health. Here's what they say about these chemicals. Well, first of all, they have a name. When do you hear what they're called? They're called obesogens. And here's what they said. That's a scary word and one you've probably never heard before. But if you want to lose weight and keep it off for good and protect your body, your family, and your environment in the bargain, you'll need to understand the term. Simply put, obesogens are chemicals that disrupt the function of our hormonal systems, leading to weight gain and many of the diseases that curse the American populace. They enter our body in a variety of sources, from natural compounds found in soy products, from artificial hormones fed to animals, from plastic pollutants in some food packaging, and from chemicals added to processed foods, and from pesticides sprayed on our produce. They act in a variety of ways, mimicking human hormones such as estrogen, blocking the action of other hormones such as testosterone, and altering the function of our genes and essentially reprogramming us to gain weight. What happened? What did it freeze? Hello? Hello? Hello, hello? Can you all hear me? What is going on? Yeah. Yes, it does. Somehow everything froze up. I'm really, really sorry. Let me see here, folks. Wow. It seems like it's still going on, but we can hear, but you can't see me, right? I mean, all of a sudden it just stopped. Makes sense. You could not have an active live stream. What do you mean I don't have an active live stream? What's going on here, folks? Can you see me on, for some reason, this is crazy. Hmm. Yes, yes, we can hear you, but you can't. Why did it? Because there's things that I wanted to be able to show you that now I can't show you for whatever reason. Huh. So again, someone was saying about high fructose corn syrup, and yes, it definitely has a real impact on us. So again, let me put it up here since you can't see me. The New Health Conversation. That's the free website that you can go to. You can see it right there. And if you like what you see, since I'm locked up and I can't share with you, you can go there and see the medical proof. And if you like what you see, you can sign up for free, and I mean free personal consultation. I just wish I could figure out what the heck is going on here. Let's see. Huh. That is bizarre that it froze on all fronts. Huh. Let me come back. Let's see. Well, I don't know what to tell everybody. Apparently, something happened because I'm frozen and I don't know why, and the internet's working. This is crazy. Well, I guess all I can do in closing is give you the again. You can see it there, the New Health Conversation. Yeah, I'm frozen, but we can hear you. I'm just so sorry. Again, this is above my pay grade. Whatever the heck happened here. This has never happened before. I'm not quite sure why it happened or what's going on. But anyway, again, you can see there the New Health Conversation. You're welcome to go there at any time. It's free. There's nothing to buy. There's nothing to see. So I'm going to have to end this live because it's frozen. But again, one last time, I would encourage any of you to go to the New Health Conversation. And if you like what you see, you can schedule a free, and I mean free consultation. Okay? So everyone have a great day, and I really apologize. I'm going to see if I can figure out what's going on and maybe come do one more live yet today, okay?